I really like behind the scenes, which is why I have Lord of the Rings, the extended editions with all the extra discs talking about how they made the videos. And when I've made videos, I've always gone back and made documentaries about making those videos. I just love talking about the process. For our college school project, they sat me down and interviewed me. And when we got done, they were like, wow, Luke, you talked a lot about the problems that we ran into. I was like, yeah, I love talking about the problems that we run into and how we solve those. I think that's really important. And so I really like putting that into the behind the scenes. And they said, that's really cool. I showed up for 5 seconds saying something pointless.
We're very happy that it's done, and we hope that you guys all enjoy the way it looks in the end.
They didn't use any of my content where I actually was talking about the problems that we ran into because they didn't want to go through that. We're talking about that here. We're still not filming because we are still setting things up. My wife is currently running tests on what is going to be the best way to make a stained glass window, which we might not even ever see in the shot. Well, that's ridiculous. Why would you do such a thing? Well, because if we ever need to see through that window, we need to have something there so that it blocks whatever's behind it. Well, why don't you just throw up a sheet? Because that doesn't look right. And this brings us back to The Lord of the Rings, because they spent, 3 years planting the plants, and then they also handmade all of the chainmail. And that's great, but it also takes time and resources. And finding that proper trade-off is one of the challenges of being a producer. I'm reminded of a behind-the-scenes segment about one of the Muppet movies. They built a pond and a boat where they added little servo motors so that the puppet could row the two characters around in the boat. And they built this entire thing for one shot to sell the fact that they're out on the water as puppets. Well, what a huge waste. Or is it? And that's the kind of things that we're running into right now. Another thing that my wife is currently working on is putting paper on the spines of all of the books so that we don't have the title showing. The way we addressed this last time is by turning all the books around, but that doesn't look like a library. I don't have a team of people to throw at that project, and I'm not going to hire a bunch of teenagers to come and do this. And that might be one of the lessons that I need to learn over the next several years of no, you actually do just have to throw money at problems as a business person at some point. And my wife, she's like, I need to buy one of those things that you can just pull the paper off. And I was like, well, how much is it? She was like, $30. $30? I'll just build you one. So I did. So prayer requests. I need wisdom to know how best to approach this. And I've got my own baggage and biases that really affect how well I make some of these decisions. We went into this talking about how we wanted to try business from a place of rest, where we work hard, but we don't strive. Instead, we rest and say, God, you need to provide, because unless the Lord builds the house, we're laboring in vain. So I don't want to labor in vain. So how do we do this appropriately? And this behind the scenes section is trying to give you some insights into what that process looked like. And I hope in the end, we're going to have a very awesome story to tell about how this process went and how far we came with God's tremendous blessing in all of it. So thank you for praying. I look forward to telling you where we've made it next time.